Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to take a look at CVE 2021-28940 and this is related to MagpieRSS affecting versions 0.72. So you're probably wondering why we're looking at such an old vulnerability and what is MagpieRSS. So MagpieRSS is a tool which gets bundled with a lot of other tools. So an example being Nagios and Feed2JS. Essentially, it allows you to pull in RSS feeds and handle them with the script. The vulnerability itself is related to curl, so in the version given, it will use curl on the command line, and you can simply append your own arguments to it to do other things. So this allows for the code execution because we can create a web shell by outputting the content of a page to a file on the file system. There are two other bugs that come with this. So one is surf vulnerability and the other is cross-site scripting. I also show those because sometimes it can be very difficult to get the web shell working. They can be locked. So there's a few options to find some bugs here. On here we have a link to some information. So I'm going to look at the exploit DB to show you what's going on. So let's give the example here saying the URL parameter. Yeah, we know that. There's a few scripts which are affected. I'll show you those in a moment. So the first one is if we can do -o, we can output to a file based on the contents we reach. So if we reach a shell, for instance, we can output to a file in the file system. The second is we can push some data to our Burp collaborator. I'm not going to use Burp collaborator, I'm going to use webhook.site, but something we control, we can get the data from. So nice and easy, that one too. So the password file is a good one to show impact with. And the other is cross-site scripting, which isn't shown here. Equally, you could also do like a port check to see what's open or see if other hosts respond on the environment with surf. But I think sending data is probably the best way of showing the impact there. Okay, so let me just show you our server running. This IP won't be accessible to you, so please don't try. It's something I own and it's very much scoped to my IP address, but yeah, please don't try. So the three scripts that are affected are Magpie debug, Magpie simple, and Magpie /box. So on each of these, there's a parameter of URL or RSS_URL, and these are affected by the vulnerability. So let's have a look at debug. So this is the most interesting one because this gives us a bit more information which we'll need for the web shell later. But here we go. As you can see, there's a little box there. It's saying parse RSS, so let's put something into it. Okay, couldn't get to the location, that's fine. So the first most obvious bug is we can put in some cross-site scripting here, so I'll just put in my standard payload there. Cool, we have some cross-site scripting. And as you can see, that's just there, we can copy the URL there. And we can just paste it in again, so there's your reflected cross-site scripting. Great, super fun, but not maybe the most impactful thing we can show. So I'm going to go to my handy notepad here, and we're going to take the webhook URL and we're going to push some data to it, and the data we're going to push is the password file. So as you can see, there's my webhook, there's the data we're going to push, simple as that. So let's put this into the command box, or we can just append it to the end of the URL like here. Okay, didn't get much back there. It's obviously tried to read the file, not well formed, invalid token. So let's go to our webhook.site. And there we go, there's our password file. Of course, you could fish for other things on the server too. It doesn't have to be the password file, but it's just a quick way of showing how this works. Now, the main event, the big one, is showing the web shell. So I'll just show you this now. Go back to my handy dandy notepad. So this is a path to a shell, very simple shell. We have a question mark at the end, which is apparently needed for this to function. We have the -o and our location on the file system. So, how do I know that's the location of the file system? Well, I'll show you now. Obviously, I run the server, so I definitely know, but I'll show you either way. So, if we go back to our debug, handily, when there's a problem, it'll tell us where the problem is. So, generally, these ones are upper level from the actual serving content. So, it could be htdocs or HTML is the actual path for the scripts. But it might depend. You might have to guess a little bit, but it gives you at least a stem to try from. So let's take the URL parameter, let's get rid of this, and let's type in our path to shell. %o and location. So before I run this, I'm going to show you there's nothing running on the server already, like a web shell. Not me tricking you. So there's no test.php there. And we're going to output to HTML test.php. It's done something. But what did it do? So let's give it a refresh. There's our web shell. And we just append cmd plus, and there we go. It's that simple. So yeah, this is quite old. I mean, this vulnerability was in Nagios, or very similar in Nagios, and there was a module created in Metasploit for it. But this comes bundled, like I say, with a lot of tools and a lot of, homemade websites. Maybe that's not the best wording. Maybe websites that aren't off the shelf, so not like pre-packaged ones. People designed them themselves. So knowing what to look for in terms of these scripts. So Magpie debug, Magpie simple, Magpie slashbox, ones that add to your word list. It's worth checking directories because they don't have to necessarily be on the root. They could be inside the scripts folder. They could be nested somewhere else. But these are the good ones to look for because these are the ones that have the vulnerability. Like I say, it could be the RSS underscore URL or the URL parameter, but they're both affected in the same way. Cool, thanks for watching.